Okay. Time for my piece on that bit at the end. Bit more sharing about me than I probably would have thought I would have said with this game. I'm a pessimist. I have horrible self-esteem. I'm sure people may find that surprising or not, depending on what you've seen of me before. And yeah, I am, as you can see, a very outside-the-box thinker. And I have horrible self-esteem and stuff because I'm able to see a lot of perspectives, in a sense. Like, you know, I don't have a fear of, like, looking up at the sky, the hugeness of the cosmos or anything like that, but at the same time, I realize that there are so many other talented people out there that I am insignificant, and that I am like this background character in everyone else's story. I know it's a horrible mental thing, but it's how I perceive the world, and it's because I'm able to essentially think of things from other perspectives that I realize how insignificant I am in the great scheme of things, and that is like its own whole messed up thing. So it's like, yeah, I understand where they're going, but any frame of reference that you can use can be both positive and negative. I just wanted to say that piece there because it tries to put outside the box thinking and thinking about things as terms of failure, doing the same thing over and over again, and that you just need to change your frame of reference. That is a great idea, but it can also be spun in a negative way, and that's the dangerous part of any sort of mental health, is you can take something that is good, frame it in a good way, and it is horrible for a certain individual because of their own messed up mind. This is why they say, you know, don't give mental health advice on stream. And that's kind of the issue with the mental health games as well. Unless it's tailored for the individual specifically, there are issues. And this is also the thing with, like, online tests. You know, they can only show signs because they don't have deeper details and they can't be tailored for the individual. Now, as a puzzle game, this was fun. I can talk about this because I edited Viewfinder, like, just before doing this, very recently. Viewfinder was fun. This, I would say, was better. Like, it both of them deal with the concept of perceptual puzzles, but I would definitely say, like, Superliminal does the concept better because it messes with space, with what is physically there due to the idea of perception and perception. And there were a few puzzles that you had to think about how they were working, and that was fun. Viewfinder, I feel the problem that it had was it was very focused on using photography to take a frame and put it somewhere else. But it didn't work with the idea any further than that, and instead it built on the concept of its puzzles by adding and removing elements on how pictures worked. Superliminal, it's just like, you can manipulate the shape of the size of objects, but we will also do weird shit to the objects as well, so you need to think about how perspective alters the objects to advance. So they never really removed any mechanics, they introduced temporary mechanics. And I feel for a puzzle game, that is a good idea. Giving the player limitations to solve a puzzle is not really a problem. When it comes to puzzle games, it's you either allow for one solution or you allow for many solutions with a limited number of interactions or objects that you can deal with. And that is really just the core of puzzles as a whole. I know some people like infinite options, but realistically a puzzle is a boxed off area with a number of limitations that you have to work with inside the box. It messes with this idea by having you thinking outside the box, sort of, with, you know, realizing that thinking in a three-dimensional space is not going to solve the issues, and playing with dreamlike mechanics. But it is still, because it is a video game, inside a box. Like, even when games jump out of the program and into like desktop interaction or interacting with augmented reality, you're still working within a box. It's just the box is much bigger, or it's outside what we perceive as the box. This is a game design mechanic called the magic circle. At least I think it's called the magic circle, where the circle dictates where the game actually occurs. So this is where we get into concepts like metagaming. Metagaming is knowledge from outside the magic circle being brought in. These games that like to mess with files on the computer, like I'm Scared did it a bit, which we played only a couple of days prior. It's not changing the size of the magic circle, rather there is a magic circle inside another one. So the smaller one is the game itself. The larger one is the computer and all the files on it and what you can access through it. When you get into augmented reality, you're just putting another circle around it. Now, the thing that gets kind of weird is when you, again, to go to I'm Scared, there's the circle of the game, there's the circle of the PC files and the files that it references, like videos and a web page. But then there is a space outside of that circle, which is like videos on the game, walkthroughs, wikis. That is outside, and that becomes metagaming. There's always a space outside the magic circle. And games constantly struggle with that concept, but again, all puzzle games focus on inside the circle, even if they try to act like they don't. And I'm rambling on a point that is really not important. It'll be on the VOD.